Live in HD from the station that brings you more West Texas news. News West 9 at 6 starts now.
Across the basin and the country, it's a day to remember those who've made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. The 12th annual Ride to Remember kicked off at the Permian Basin Vietnam Memorial this morning. Hundreds of riders took part as they made their way to Andrews. As Victor Lopez tells you, this day means many things to many different people. Victor.
Well, David, if you've never been a part of the Ride to Remember, even as a spectator, you're definitely missing out. This year, over 800 bikes and over 1,500 riders rode hard, so Americans will never forget what one performer said in her song. All of them gave some, but some gave all.
We have men and women that have lost their lives for our freedom, and that's something we can never forget. We got to stay on top of it.
Midland County Sheriff Gary Painter was one of the many that gathered at the Permian Basin Vietnam Memorial. A crowd filled with veterans, enlisted, families, and a whole lot of support.
I appreciate all the people coming out, honoring the veterans that have served, honoring the veterans that are lost, the ones that have lost their lives, the ones that are still missing. We never forget. We're not going to forget.
Sheriff Painter escorted the 1,500-plus riders as they made their way from the Vietnam Memorial down Highway 191 on their way to Andrews. But he has more in common with many of them than today's ride. He's a war veteran, too.
Something like this today brings it back. I think it's an outstanding tribute to the veterans of the United States.
The ocean of onlookers were silent as a lone bugle played taps in memory of the fallen. They watched, many wiping away tears, as wreaths were laid at the memorial wall. They even were witness to a Native American ceremony performed by the Cherokee tribe of the Trans-Pecos region.
I have been asked to participate in the Native American aspect of keeping the tradition and bringing the heritage and the culture, keeping it alive.
Tijerina shares a bond with many in the crowd, like the family of PFC Clayton Henson of Midland, who was killed in Iraq in 2004.
I also have a brother on this wall, died in Vietnam. It extends my family because all these people have gone through what I've gone through, and knowing the loss and experiencing that loss.
From the old to the young, from Harleys to performance bikes, the spirit of America's armed forces and the sacrifices they have made was flowing. While some in the crowd may not be old enough to fully understand the true meaning of Memorial Day yet, vets and family members hope they will someday soon.
You can honor the ones that have lost their lives, the ones that have served, and never forget that this day is there for that purpose.
I would admonish the young people to understand that this is the greatest nation in the world.
Now, during the memorial ceremony, we heard a lot of comments from veterans and families of the fallen, but possibly the one that brings it all home came from a Vietnam vet. He said freedom means one thing to the protected, but it means something totally different to those who protect. Live in the studio, Victor Lopez, News West 9.